This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Without dreams and goals, there is no living, only merely existing, and that is not why we're here. Mark Twain. Welcome to Choose to Rise. I am so grateful that you're here with me today. And I want to share with you some little strategies, some little ways to set some big goals for what's about to happen here. We are heading into a new decade, a new year. And it's not just a new year, it's a whole new decade. And so when you really think about it, you can maybe get a little overwhelmed with thinking about like how big of a deal that is. Or maybe you're like, really, this isn't a big deal at all. We're just one day at a time and we're going through it. But I would challenge you again with this quote from Mark Twain. Without dreams and goals, there is no living, just merely existing. And that's not why we're here. This is a powerful quote in that, we aren't here to just pass the days, let the time go on. God created you for a unique and specific set of tasks, a unique and specific set of gifts were given to you to carry out a purpose in this world. And it's totally up to you to find that purpose inside of you, to learn about who God is and who you are in God, and experience life on the level and then the path that He's created for you. So a lot of that happens by listening to those inner, whispers that happen. I was woken up this morning with, just some rumblings in my heart and some like thoughts and words. And I'm like, I have to get these out on paper. And so, it's just one of those things where listen to what He's saying to you and kind of walk in the direction. There's a quote a verse that says that you walk, He'll speak to you His voice will come from behind and will say, walk this way, whether it's right or left. And it's from Isaiah, I believe. And it's so good. It's really been a reminder for me this year as I've reflected back on 2019 and as I've continued to move forward and to looking forward for 2020 is that I don't get anywhere without Him. And if I really want to live well, I need to not just exist here on this earth, but I need to be always looking for Him and always listening for Him in my life, and really setting goals and going after dreams that He's placed on my heart. And that, what's for you will not pass you, but what's for you is going to always keep coming to you until you take action on it. So listen to those rumblings in your heart, write some goals, write out some dreams, and write out how you're going to achieve them this year. And so today I want to share with you some little things about how to set and accomplish some goals. And the first and foremost thing is that you have to commit to it, right? You have to declare that what you are writing down on paper is meaningful and that, you have some sort of form of commitment to it. Don't write down that you want to lose 50 pounds if you're really not committed to doing the work that's going to be able to get you to that point. Don't say that you want to earn a certain amount of money or that you want to live in a certain place or that you want to be or have or do the certain thing if you're not committed to actually doing the work to get there. That's why so many, like 87% of all New Year's resolutions fail, is because they're just wishes. They're not actually goals. They're not things that people are really committed to. They're ideals, really. They're things that people want to be able to do. They're things that people want to be able to have and see and accomplish, but they're really not committed. So the first most step that you need to take in order to reach the goals that you set for yourself is to really commit to what it's going to take in order to reach them. The second one, it's kind of right along with this, is to state your why. Why do you want this? State your motivations. Why is it important for you to have this, to achieve this? What are the benefits you'll get from it? And how will it help? How will you stay accountable to it? So when you really think about your why you're accomplishing this, why you're working towards it, when you get into the thick of it, when it gets hard, it will be so important that you have a why, because I could work my business or I could not work my business every single day. But when I think about why I do this to help people live healthier lives, when I think about why I push play every day on my workout, so that I can feel good in my skin. I can show my kids that it's possible to work hard and to be better individually. I work my business every day to connect with more women like you that are listening today, and the people on my team, and then all the big, huge goals that I have for my life, with my kids needing and wanting a farm of their own and a place for them to ride their horses and things like that. Thinking about, what is it that is going to make you tick? What is it that you want to achieve? And then what's the emotional attachment to that? Making sure you have an emotional motivation and connection to what it is that you want to achieve. Because if there's no like real feeling behind it, or you don't really feel like your back's against a wall in some sort of way, you're not going to continue with it. So have an emotional attachment to your goal, and that is stated through your why that you're doing it. Number 3, set a deadline. I was listening to a podcast recently, and Dwayne Dyer said, a goal will take up all the space that you give it, right? It'll expand to the timeline that you give it. So if you have set a reasonable deadline for it, so like don't say like I'm going to earn $1 million by next week, because that's probably not going to happen unless you like win the lottery or something. But if you are going to work towards something and or saying that you're going to lose 50 pounds this month, that's probably not going to happen either. But if you can set a realistic timeline for yourself, set a deadline for it to happen, and then work towards those pieces to get to that deadline, you're much more likely to have it happen. Now, I would say that there are women in my business that say that they're going to achieve what's called emerald rank in like 3 months' time. Emerald rank is just inviting 2 people to join you at a coach level. So it's not as hard as it seems, as we make it out to be. And that's really true about a lot of things in life. We make them out to be harder than they really are. So set a reasonable deadline for sure, but not like too comfortable of a deadline where you're actually just going to drag out the process longer.
Hey guys, I want to take a few seconds and give a shout out to PodCorn for sponsoring today's episode. Partnerships with companies like PodCorn make this podcast possible to reach more people and have a larger impact on the world. Their service or their marketplace platform is designed to help podcasters like me connect with brands we love for sponsorships, and in the end, everyone wins. Through the use of host-read ads like this, interview segments, topical discussions, and more, you as listeners get to know more about the cool products that I love too. The great brands get their products talked about and shared, and our podcasts get the financial support to do more of what we love, helping you rise up and live your best life. It's been super easy to use the PodCorn platform, and if you're a podcaster like me, I highly recommend you check it out. I'm looking forward to working with other great partners in the future. Thank you, PodCorn, for bridging the gap between podcast and brands.
Number 4, set a reward. Set a reward to look forward to and to motivate yourself to keep moving forward. Maybe it's a new pair of leggings. Maybe it's, a dinner out with your friends. Maybe it's, a thing, an item, or whatever it might be, a trip, an experience. I know when I finished my school administrative license a couple of years ago, my big reward was going on a trip with some girlfriends that I actually earned through my company. But it was just one of those, like, if I don't get this done, I can't go thing. And so I pushed really hard to get it accomplished. And then I was able to go and have fun on that. So set a reward. It doesn't have to be something huge and lavish. It could be something small. But just make sure that you have a kind of a carrot for yourself to kind of look forward to. And on the flip side of that, maybe set a consequence of that as well. So I learned with Jensen Chair from your BA book that, sometimes it's important to set a consequence instead of a reward. Maybe it's a negative situation that helps motivate you. And so, if you don't get XYZ done, or you don't do this or that, you have to pay a certain amount of money to a charity that you don't like, or you have to, give campaign funds to a political person that you're not a fan of, or whatever it might be, that you have to pay somebody something, that you have to go do something that you're not a big fan of. Like, set a reward or set a consequence for yourself, however that you are motivated, and it's going to make sure you get it done. Number 5, break it down. Break down those goals to avoid the overwhelm by setting progress markers and deadlines for each of them along the way. We don't need to eat the entire elephant in order to be successful. It's really important that you are planning ahead, which is step number 6, but breaking it down into smaller, manageable pieces. Because the more you can celebrate in this journey, the more you can reward yourself, the more you can feel excited and rejuvenated along the process by breaking it down and having small wins along the way, the more likely you're actually going to get to the end goal. So break down the big, large task into smaller amounts. So maybe if you're wanting to lose 20 pounds, maybe you look at 2 pounds a week or 2 pounds every week and a half, and that you're doing the things that you need to do in order to reach those milestones along the way, so they compound and add up to big things at the end. Number 6, like I said, was plan ahead. Identify obstacles you might face and come up with solutions that are going to help you overcome them or eliminate them before they even happen. So if you're in a weight loss goal, or you're in a healthy living goal, or you maybe even have a business goal, think about what's coming up in your life that's going to maybe derail you from those things. I know a lot of people, you're at the end of the year, they're trying to start something new and they just say, I'll wait till January 1st. But guess what? If you start now and you're able to overcome the obstacles that are in your way with family gatherings and travel and all of the things, you'll be able to be much more confident in your skills and ability to keep going when the going gets tough next year as well. So plan ahead, know what's coming, think about what's happening in your schedule. If you have any trips planned, if you have, maybe some events, some life events happening, maybe you're having a baby or there's some weddings coming up in your family, think ahead about what's going to work in your world and then plan your goals accordingly around those. So those are some 6 little ways that you can, make some goals and accomplish them. Make sure you're planning, break it all down, set a reward or a consequence, set a deadline, state your why, get super emotional about it, and really commit to what it is that you want to do. Now, I said, those are ways that you can set goals, but what kind of goals do you want to achieve? Really, I challenge you today to think really, really big. Another one that I heard from, another kind of statement quote that I heard from Wayne Dyer was, he said that most people set goals around the area of their own limitations. So if you're setting goals in your own box, you're not going to get as far as if you were to really go after lavish things. And I don't mean like, big, huge things that don't mean anything to you, and like, things that are super crazy big that aren't important to you, but like things that, think outside your box, think outside of what you've already accomplished. And if it scares you a little bit to say that you're going to go do it, then that probably means you're on a good route for it. If you're making a huge goal and then say something along the lines of like, well, if this were to happen, I could do that. Like, you're not going to get there. But if you can like boldly say, I'm going to do this year, and then use these 6 steps and to make sure it actually happens, you're going to have much more conviction around it, and you're going to have much more belief that it's actually going to happen. So I hope today that one of these little tricks and little tips works for you, that you're going to set yourself up for 2020 and the decade ahead, and move forward in the 2020s with a positive heart and a positive mind, and rising up out of your current situation to live your absolute best life. I hope today that you got something out of this. And if you love it, share it, please, on social media. Head over to choosetoriseup.com. Get connected with me there. Send the link to this podcast to a friend who needs it. And I can't wait to hear from you again this next week. We're going to be continuing with these kind of goals idea and really thinking about the new year ahead and how we can set ourselves up for success going forward. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you back here again next time.